You guys, what is good? Welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel. Forget about the Interista Uncle Sharma. For the next few weeks, you're going to be seeing the Azzurri fan Uncle Sharma. We're going to be covering the Italian national team's journey at this Euro 2024 in Germany together. How long that journey lasts, we don't know. But today's video is kind of a preview of the first game, but how also I would approach this Euros if I was Luciano Spalletti. The full Euro 2024 preview I'm going to do later on today on the live stream, so make sure you check that out with Counterattack podcast. Let's get into it. Italy versus Albania, our first game on Saturday. Kickoff. It's going to be an interesting one. Albania, they were in good form in their qualifying stages. I've never watched an Albania game, but I've seen highlights. They're a good team. And this, according to Gazzetta dello Sport, is our predicted lineup. Spalletti continuing with this experimental 3-4-2-1 formation that we've seen in the last few friendlies. It's worked, but it's also not worked. It's looked a bit clunky, but at the same time, three at the back is probably the way forward with our defensive options and our forward options. The issue just comes here in midfield because not a lot of these guys are super comfortable in this formation, I believe. But it looks like Spalletti's continuing with it, so we got to stick with it. I personally would probably opt more for a 3-5-2 rather than a 3-4-3. I'll show in a minute what I would do. But the predicted lineup for Italy, I pretty much agree with it all. Of course, the main talking point is Bryan Cristante here. Stands out like a sore thumb. That is because Barella, our boy Nicolo Barella, not even as an Inter fan, as I hope Italy fans agree with me that he is Italy's best player, Nicolo Barella. But he's got a muscular fatigue at the moment. Also had a new child born recently. Had his new contract with Inter. So a few things going on. They're still saying he might not be 100% fit for the first game. So that's why you see Cristante here. That does not look good. That does not look good. I would not start Bryan Cristante in the first game against Albania, especially next to Jorginho. Two of our most unathletic, least mobile players next to each other in a two does not give me good confidence. And on a technical level as well, with Frattesi in there, it's 3-4-2-1, but Frattesi as a centre midfielder by trade, he's going to try to probably drop deep a little bit, make it 3-5-2 at times. It just doesn't give me much confidence. I would much rather... This is not even Pellegrini's ideal position, really, in the two centre mid position, but I would rather play Lorenzo Pellegrini in that position next to Jorginho rather than putting Bryan Cristante there. But he always gets the nod with the Italy coaches. Mancini used to love him. All the Roma coaches love him. Now Spalletti likes him, so there must be a reason. But I personally wouldn't go with that. Everywhere else, I pretty much agree with it. I think Spalletti needs to make Scamacca the number 9. But like Immobile was at Euro 2021 or Euro 2020, but 2021, Mancini stuck with Immobile, whether the game was going well, whether Immobile was being involved well or not. He offers a lot more than Retegui on the ball. And, Raspadori doesn't offer as much physically as well. Goals-wise, he's our most informed striker. Just stick with him. And then obviously in the second half, especially if you need goals, Retegui is a fox in the box. He can add goals. Raspadori if you need a bit more link-up play. But Scamacca, he needs to step up as well at the same time. Spalletti can only give him so much faith. And then Chiesa, the whole country is waiting to see the real Federico Chiesa, the one we saw at the Euro 2020, the guy that almost dragged us through single-handedly at times with his brilliant 1v1 ability and pace. In this formation, in the 3-4-2-1, with the ability to drift up to the left-hand side that he likes to do, but also I hope he's also given the freedom to go to the right-hand side too, just like being given the free role behind the striker, because he doesn't like being central. We've seen that at Juve in the 3-5-2 under Allegri. Maybe that's Allegri, but he just doesn't like that. So I would let him have the freedom of going around, all around, behind, around Scamacca, cause damage, go 1v1, have the confidence, make mistakes, but take shots on goal, create something out of nothing. That's what he can do. Because we don't really have anyone else that can do that, especially, who do we have off the bench? Zaccagni, he can do something similar, but nowhere near the same explosivity and creativity. El Shaarawy maybe, but he's been playing more as a wing back most of these last couple of years. And I agree with obviously Di Marco is the clear starter for left wing back, but I actually would, as the predicted lineup puts here, I do not want to see Di Lorenzo as a wing back. Spalletti, of course. Di Lorenzo was Spalletti's captain at Napoli, his trusted soldier. But Di Lorenzo's past year, just like the whole Napoli team, but his past year has been absolutely atrocious. I do want, especially as a right wing back, it's never been really Di Lorenzo's strength being bombing up and down as an attacking wing back. I wouldn't, if Spalletti really wants to play him, he can play the Darmian role as a right centre back. But I personally would not play him as a right wing back. Cambiaso, he's very very ambidextrous, both feet good, can cut in, can go outside, has got really good technical ability, good cross on him. He has to be the starter. And I think Cambiaso, and it's Cambiaso, by the way. I don't want to hear Cambiaso. People say Cambiaso because it's not Cambiaso. It's one S. Let's not tarnish Esteban Cambiaso's name. This is Cambiaso, Andrea Cambiaso, one S. But I think he's going to be potentially the Spinazzola of this tournament for Italy. I think he's going to be that X factor where other teams are not expecting him to be. So keep a lookout for Cambiaso. At the back, I saw Calafiori start the last friendly against Bosnia. He was really good. And I was thinking, like, wow, he's so good on the ball. Like, imagine having Bastoni, Di Marco, and Calafiori as a trio combining on the left, pushing Bastoni to the middle, Calafiori left centre back, and Di Marco. But why push players out of their best position? Bastoni, we know his best position is that left centre back. Maybe he can play in the middle, but do we really trust him man marking as being a real defender? Probably not. Buongiorno is that real old school man for man box defender. So let him play there. Keep Bastoni, potentially the best left centre back in the world, in the three there, and Di Marco. But of course, Calafiori can also get some minutes. And on the other side, I actually, even though I criticize him often and he's not a player I particularly like, but on the ball, he is fantastic, which is Gianluca Mancini. He's always been very, very good on the ball. Spalletti is a progressive coach, guys. He likes passing from the back, build up from the back, possession-based football. That's what he wants his Italy team to play, aggressive, attacking style, modern type of football. This is in Serie A 23-24, the players with the most completed passes, any type of pass. You see at the top, I criticize him, but Giovanni Di Lorenzo's right at the top. That's why I don't mind him if he plays as a right centre-back. He can build up very nicely with Di Lorenzo at the back, very comfortable on the ball, very good technical ability. And then you see Gianluca Mancini breaks into the top 10. He is really good on the ball. He even plays sometimes as a midfielder for Roma in the past. And he's kind of ironed out a few of those brain fart moments and stupid boneheaded moments out of his game over the last year or so. I have to admit, he has improved a lot. He's finally kind of achieving that hype that he had earlier on in his career. Whereas, Darmian, as much as we love him, as much as he is, Mr. Reliable in terms of actual progressive passing and technical ability, he's very basic. You keep things basic, but which is not anything wrong with that. But I'm talking, if I'm thinking of, especially against Albania, first game, you want to dominate, you want to play them off the park if you can. They're probably, you're going to have the major share of the possession. You want to have guys that can break lines, have sweeping passes. Mancini can also do cross-field passes, switches of the play, which is not something Darmian can do. Just for that reason, in my starting 11, actually, especially this for the first game against Albania, I would put Mancini in. In the bigger games, when you're playing, Spain, especially Croatia, then Darmian, as you said, Mr. Reliable, defensively better, less brain farts. Less brain farts. Just a bit more, consistent. You bring him back in. And then obviously, ideally, I would have Barella in there. And then, between Pellegrini and Frattesi, I think Frattesi now has really won things over. I think his recent form, his goal-scoring form with Italy, he has those runs from midfield that no one can pick up. he can be the X factor, and he has a very good connection with Scamacca, from the days of Sassuolo, but even before, these two have pretty much grown up together. When you talk about best friends in football, Frattesi and Scamacca, you're talking about best friends in football. These two, through the Lazio youth and Roma youth, these guys have been together a long time. So essentially, this is what I would play if this is, the formation that Spalletti wants to continue with. But I would definitely, on games where I want to control more, against Albania, as I said, I probably maybe would start Pellegrini in there and then bring on Frattesi. Can be just as like it was at Inter. 30 minutes left in the game, 20 minutes, impact substitute. But yeah, everything does rely on goal scoring. Actually, I'm not too worried about us defensively. This block of defenders, I think, quite solid with Donnarumma behind them. Di Marco and Cambiaso also helping out with the midfielders. I just really hope Scamacca clicks, Chiesa clicks, and whoever plays in this other position can click. And the guys off the bench are going to be vital as well. Like, if we're struggling for a goal, Zaccagni, El Shaarawy, Raspadori, Retegui, just, come on and bring some impact off the bench. And I think Italy will qualify from this group. When we look at the other teams, I know Croatia always have an aura about them when it comes to international football. But if you remember last Euros, they weren't very good. They got kicked out by England. And they have the similar issue. Like, we're talking about lack of strikers. Ante Budimir, this guy flopped in Serie A, and he took one of the worst penalties in the history of football this past season, I remember. But that midfield is still goated. It's like untouchable midfield. But do they have the cutting edge? Perisic is back in the squad, but he just came back from a serious ACL injury. Similar issues for, Spain, amazing team on the ball. We always know that, but Morata at 32 years old is still their main striker. Who else do they really have as a cutting edge, So good teams for sure. Albania is also a good team, not to be underestimated. We know who to watch out for in the Albania team. Christian Aslani, our boy from Inter, who actually plays a slightly more attacking role within his team, which I always say, I don't know why Inzaghi never tries Aslani as a mezzala, because this 4-2-3-1 is like, a bit of a 4-3-3 at times. Ramadani is the sitter, the more defensive midfielder. Aslani is given a bit more roaming options. Up front, this is probably their star player, Armando Broja from Chelsea. But they also have Ray Manai, another interconnection. Where is he? Here on the bench. You may also see him start because he's had a very good season. He was in the top 3 goal scorers in the Turkish league behind Icardi and Dzeko. Big interconnection in the Turkish league. And obviously Bayrami got relegated with Sassuolo, but he's a good technical quality player. And Jim City, of course, the leader at the back, the Atalanta captain who won the Europa League in Durone's absence. And I think it'll be Strakosha in goal starting. And again, another Italian connection, former Lazio goalkeeper. Hisai, of course, Lazio. Lots of Italian connection. Ramadani from Lecce. So yeah, tricky team, not to be underestimated, but hopefully and theoretically, Italy should have this covered. And at least qualify, surely. At least, you can still qualify via third places in this tournament. So surely, you can at least get third place, Italy. And then I'm predicting that we can get to, a quarterfinal. I'm not as hopeful as I was last tournament around, but maybe these guys prove me wrong. You guys let me know your thoughts down below. What would you play in terms of tactical layout, players? And yeah, what's your prediction for Italy? Make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let's see how we do on Saturday. Forza Azzurri, Forza Scamacca, and as I always say, Forza Spalletti. For me, he is the best coach in this tournament, alongside maybe Nagelsmann or Deschamps, but he's one of the best in this tournament. I have full faith in Spalletti and what he does. I trust him. So Forza Spalletti, we believe in that bold head. Ciao.